welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and you're watching M.O.N.Comics. There was this idea about 10 months ago between 10 or so YouTube creators that had been talking in a group chat for some time that really clicked and decided they wanted to meet each other. And we decided we'd go to a Comic-Con. And the Comic-Con we eventually landed on due to relative proximity for most people, except for some madmen from the East Coast, was Terrificon. And this is that story. It's Thursday when I'm filming this. The con was last weekend, and it's been very overwhelming, both with the amount of stuff that I want to share and my story and the story of the con and us, as well as emotional, a ton of emotions. Before you watch this, you got to remember, I'm a full-time working dad of 2 little girls. My wife works full-time. My sister and I help take care of my mother, who is partially disabled. So for me to be able to go and spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday out of town was a big deal, is a big deal. And I'm so grateful for my wife for making it work with our family so I could do this. And I want to take you all through my adventures. I didn't know how I was going to do these videos. I knew they needed to be good. I didn't want to rush them. I didn't want to just put them out and show you what I got. I wanted to take you through my experience and my opinion of Terrificon. I've decided to do 3 parts, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and just start from the beginning of the day to the end. And just mention everything I took in, from comics to community members to comic book creators I met to celebrities I met. So I want to bring you through it all. So the story starts actually this past, not yesterday, but the Wednesday before. I took the day off from work and decided to invite JP, one half of the Absolute Game of Nerds, and my buddy Ryan, the Colossus Collector, to my house to stay the night, because their drive, Ryan was driving from Toronto to pick up, from Toronto to my house, and JP was driving from Pennsylvania. They both had about a 4-hour drive to my house. And then I said, why don't you guys just crash here? There's an antique show we'll hit up, which that video will come out later. And then we'll take off fresh for the Comic-Con on Thursday. They said, great idea. So when Ryan first arrived, it was kind of like a movie. Something I've seen before. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Colossus! You son of a...
So yeah, very surreal meeting Colossus finally. And let me tell you, he's about as tall and built like Colossus. So JP showed up about an hour later. And we did our thing, and the next day we were off to Terrificon. But before we even took off, we had gotten a notification on both the Terrificon, the Foot, F-O-O-T, fans of old Terrificon Facebook page, as well as our Instagram page, saying that Keanu Reeves was going to come on Friday for 2 hours to sign his books and meet fans. And so that was already stewing in my brain, because I've loved Keanu Reeves since Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Since he took us through the Matrix, since he was John Constantine, since he was John Wick. I've just grown up loving him. So that was already in my head if I was going to try to pull that off. So Thursday, we set out, and instead of just going right to Connecticut from Hamilton, New York, we got an invite from Mike of Lunch Money Comics to shoot over to Massachusetts, stop by his place, and see the Lunch Money Comics studio. So I'm going to give you a little footage of that and show you that real quick.
Amazing.
This is the part you read.
Welcome to Lunch Money Comics studio / office / music room / gaming room. This is everything else I can't fit in my antique room goes in here. So there you go.
I had one of these rooms before I had kids too.
Right. Yeah, and the kids think it's pretty cool. So when we built the addition, we put that in. The kids knew we were putting the door. But, I had set up like the games and stuff. The day I opened this door and the kids looked in, the look on their faces, they were like...
And so yeah, it was very surreal meeting one of my best friends that I've had online. And I had met Mike before. We had gone to a con in Albany, but to be in his studio where he films, showing us everything, seeing his amazing collection he's built. And before we even get to the con, he's busting out books that were gifts. So these are from Mike. I'm going to show these real quick. He knows me, and he's a great guy. He gifted me an Iron Man 274 with a great cover of Fin Fang Foom. Very cool. I can't wait to read that story. Gotta remember, Fin Fang Foom became a big adversary of Iron Man post Silver Age. So very cool book. He gave me the New Avengers 7, The Sentry Part 1, which introduces the Illuminati. If you know, you know. And the last book he gave me, I actually had Slab before, but decided I wanted it raw, so I sold it, and I was just kind of waiting to buy it. And he gifted it to me, so I was very grateful. It's Fantastic Four 86. Just a great Doom cover in really nice shape. I love books with date stamps. I think they tell a little story. So this one says 2/13/69. So February 13th, 69, day before Valentine's Day. So thanks, Mike, for the hospitality and gifting me these books. He also gave books to like every creator we met up with, which I'll talk about at the end of the video of who was all there. So thanks for the hospitality and showing us a good time and giving us some books, Mike. You're the best. Can you hear my voice? My voice just came back. I thought I was sick at the beginning of the week because of the letdown. Con hangovers are real. Like after such an amazing time with people, especially friends you've known online that you hadn't met in person, the depression and feeling after was real. And I lost my voice. I thought I had COVID because there's literally thousands of people at the con. Plus it's a casino that you're staying at because it was at Mohegan Sun. So I thought that the chances of contracting some kind of sickness was pretty good, but COVID test was negative. I've started feeling better. Today's the best I felt, Thursday, but my voice is still kind of hoarse. So please bear with me as we go through this story. All right, so Thursday night we get there, we get settled in. Me and Bruce from M.O.N.Comics, who's one of the 10 creators, and Bruce I've known for over 10 years now, and we finally met in person. We decided to take a beer and go to the hot tub and pool, and it was really relaxing, just chilled and talked about our expectations for the con, who we wanted to meet, what books we wanted to get. It was just really surreal to have this kind of time, being a full-time dad and working full-time, to have this kind of time was really precious. And then I talked to Ricky from All Sorts of Words. Ricky was going to meet Keanu no matter if anyone came with him or not. He was dead set. He loves meeting celebrities and con. Keanu means a great deal to him, as he does to me. So I'm just going to touch on it briefly because Ricky already made a video and dropped it this Saturday we were at the con, and you really just need to follow the link to the video in the description and go watch it because he breaks it down exactly how it happened. Point for point, just he lays it out more beautiful than I ever could, and it's true. I will tell you, it was one of the hardest con experiences I have. Not that I have a ton of con experiences, but the amount of time we had to wait standing, how long it took, the twists and turns, who no one can tell like Ricky. You got to go watch it and just find out. I will tell you that Thursday night I said, I'm going to do this with you, and Ricky was there at 5 in line already. They said you couldn't be in line till 8. And listen, they had to give it time, I'm sure, but if someone tells you someone famous that you adore is going to be there, you're probably going to go early. And there were still spots in line after 8 a.m. had you shown up. Again, go see Ricky's video. So while I was in line, I did take the opportunity to interview a couple really nice guys who were standing behind me by the name of Michael and Santiago. Really cool guys, just so chill. We watched spots in lines when someone had to go to the bathroom or grab a drink or whatever, So check out this interview with them real quick.
Okay, so we're in line for the Keanu signing, which was announced yesterday. This is my boy Santiago, my boy Michael. Where'd you guys come from? Where did you guys drive down from?
We're coming from Manhattan.
Manhattan.
New York City.
New York City. And how did you guys hear about this? Like, when did you hear about it?
About the Keanu signing?
Yeah, about the Keanu signing.
Like a day ago?
Yeah, social media. I found out on Instagram, and then I let you know. I think I texted you with the screenshot, and we all went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were driving down. We were in Massachusetts when the news dropped, and we couldn't believe it. Our group chat blew up. It was crazy. So we all have to get Berserker books signed, right? Like that's the only thing he's signing is his stuff, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. And we had them ready. We already have
Right.
Berserker books.
These guys were down here. Ricky from All Sorts of Words was down here at 5 a.m. These guys were right behind him. I got up a little late at 5:30 because I haven't had uninterrupted sleep in like 2 years from my kids. So I was just racked out. Glad I did. Everyone's going to get a signature, a professional photo from Keanu. Is this making your weekend? Is this like? I mean, you're already going to have fun here, right? But like, did this just elevate it to another level for you guys?
It's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. You can't beat it. You get to meet Keanu Reeves.
That's what I said too.
I mean, we came here for like, obviously for the con. We already had all plans, but this like derailed everything. This is like the icing on the cake. I mean, I'm stuttering right now. I'm so freaking excited.
Yes,
it's crazy.
This is awesome. So thanks so much, guys, for being cool. We've been in line with you guys.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be a great experience.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah. So see you guys in the next clip. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay, so Michael, Santiago, shout out to you guys. Thanks for being so cool and adding yet another group of people that made my con experience awesome as we waited in line to meet Keanu. Now, there was you had to qualify to meet him by either buying a 3-day pass or a VIP pass. Now, I booked my hotel back in February and I decided to get the VIP pass back in February. Not because I knew that Keanu was going to be there because it hadn't been announced, but you get this nice swag shirt. You got in half an hour early every day, but probably the biggest value I saw on this was line skips. So once a day, you could go up to a staff member and say, I'd like to go to the front of this line. No problem. They'd walk you over. They'd wait for whoever was getting a sign-in to be done. You would then get in that place. You'd get a punch, and that was used for the day. This was paramount in not only meeting Keanu, but saving me valuable time throughout the con. Some of you might say, oh, it's kind of cheap. How'd you feel getting in front of a line of people? Well, everyone had the opportunity to buy them. And also, I wasn't that guy that brought a short box for people to sign. I had, at most, 2 books for the creators that I got into the front of the line to sign. And everyone was appreciative of that, and I wasn't going to abuse it. So this was already getting the value to me from the line skips, but once it became a prerequisite to meet Keanu, it was absolutely huge. So again, we waited in line. I satisfied the requirements, and he was only signing Berserker books. So I reached out to my good buddy Jeff from Comic Spa, and he had books waiting at Mike's on Thursday in case we did decide to meet him. And after waiting on my feet for 8 hours with Ricky, who actually we had a blast. We bonded in pain, we bonded in pleasure, but it finally happened, and we got to meet Keanu. And the cost was nothing as long as you were either a 3-day badge member or a VIP ticket holder. If you were the first 100 in line, first 100, you were going to meet him for free. The only thing they charged you for was $20 per professional photo, and you didn't even have to pay that if you just wanted to do the digital download, which they had a QR code for, and you could go print it out later. But I wanted it right then and there. I wanted to see it. So I paid the $20 for the picture and $5 for the holder, and I did get to meet both Keanu Reeves and Ron Garney. So Ron Garney is the artist on the comic book Berserker, and Keanu is the writer. And let me tell you, I had heard this book was good, and I stood in line and I read it, and I really enjoyed it. And it's written like Keanu's writing it. What can I say about Ron? Super cool guy. I said, hey, it's a really great book. You guys got something good here. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Really cool. Keanu, as soft-spoken, nice, kind as you could imagine. I just said, hey, thanks for great memories throughout my life in the movies and just being a kind human. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your support. And just really kind. It was not a long interaction at all. And to be honest, by the time I met him, I was dehydrated from the night before, which is my own damn fault. I pounded water in the line, which didn't help too much. All I had eaten was a fruit cup and a croissant. So by the time I got this picture taken, I was on the verge of passing out. I was very exhausted, very tired, didn't, get much sleep. It was like I said, it was my own fault, but I made it happen. So I got this picture with him, and the book that I was given to me by Jeff from Comic Spa that I got signed was Berserker #1. This is the 3rd print foil from April of 2021. This is a cover by Dan Mora, but it's written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint, and the pencils and ink by Ron Garney. So as you can see right there, Keanu Reeves and Ron Garney. Now, again, when I came out of the ballroom that he was signing in, Ricky was like, I'm done, I'm going back to the room. I got to rest, and I was on my way too. But I came out, I was like in just almost hallucinating, like just couldn't believe I just met Keanu Reeves, and I just wasn't feeling great. And I still had this book out of the case, the Mylar, waiting for the paint to dry. So I'm like literally carrying it like this. And I walk out to the con, and the con, official con photographer, Liz Ellis, I'll put the link to her Facebook and Instagram below. Wonderful photographer. Check out her work. She documented the whole con, was standing out there, and she said, hey, can I take a picture of you with that? And I said, yeah, sure, that'd be great. Not thinking I'd see it later on. So I posed for the picture, and she took it, and this is the picture that she ended up taking. And I didn't realize it, you know, at the time when she took the picture, people started noticing what it was. And a couple people walked up and they're like, oh, did you get the signing? Were you one of the 100? And I was like, yeah, I did it. And this overwhelming wave of accomplishment, not that I ran a marathon or anything, but stand in line for 8 hours, hungover, and well, quasi hungover, but just hungry, and I'm a big guy, and it was a lot. And, you know, tell me how you are after you get out of that. So people were coming up and saying, wow, that's amazing. It's beautiful. It looks great. Good job. It was really like, wow, we did it. Ricky and I did it. So thanks again to Liz for taking that picture. Thanks for the kind people that came up and said hi to me. Immediately after this, I ran to the nearest food hub and got a chicken sandwich and fries and a Coke and refueled quick. So after refueling, I was like, I better go to my room. I better go lay down. But the con had started. I had come out. You got to remember, when I went into this ballroom with Ricky, there was only 100 people in there. And, you know, when I came out, there's hundreds of people at the con. So I'm like, I can't miss this. I'm at the con. Let me at least go inside and talk to some people, see if I can find maybe one of the books I was looking for, because I had a specific list. So I walked down the corridor, and let me show you some footage from that real quick. yeah, that was just a little bit of con footage that I scraped together because, again, you got to remember, I don't go to these things often. I was just overwhelmed. I was just meeting friends, creators, both within my group that I had been talking to for over a year and people that I had been interacting with online but finally got to meet. So first I want to shout out 3 fans that came up to me. Greg, great guy, came up and stopped me, showed me some books he had, said he's a fan of the channel. He showed me a book he had bought somewhere that had a John Byrne signature in it that no one knew was in there, so that blew my mind. So Greg, if you're watching, thank you for coming and saying hi. Really meant the world to me. Anthony, thanks for stopping me. Hey, I watched the channel. I said, listen, I'm so out of it, man. I'm so sorry. I got to go back to my room, but I gave him a sticker and said, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. But the sweetest, most hilarious interaction I had was Bob. This gentleman stops me, says, M.O.N.Comics, I'm a fan of your channel. I'm a watcher. I'm like, hey, thanks so much. I'm Brandon. He's like, my name's Bob. And I'm like, are you having a good time? Like, he's like, yeah, I come to this one quite often, you know. And he's like, I know this is your first one. What do you think? I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I have to go take a rest. I have to go just lay down. Like, it's a lot right now. But he's like, well, I got something for you. And he pulls out this book, and it blew me away. It's Showcase number 60. First appearance of the Silver Age Spectre, which is a character I'm a fan of. I've loved this cover. I've always thought about getting it, but my current collecting goals didn't jive with it. And he says, Brandon, this has rusted staples. I'm not a fan of rusted staples, but I've watched your channel enough to know that it's apparent you don't give a crap. And it's so true. If I can own a book in any kind of condition, I'm probably going to be appreciative of it. So Bob, thank you so much for this gift. Thank you to you and Greg and Anthony for stopping me. Now, this is just Friday. Remember, I'm going to mention other people I met Saturday and Sunday. So these are the first people that stopped me. Bob, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I will cherish this forever. It's going to go up on the wall. And thanks so much to you 3 for stopping me that day. All right, so before I even bought my book, I ran into some community members that I would like to take the time to shout out for making my Friday or my whole weekend super special. First one I met up with Noah, Broke Boy Comics, relatively new YouTuber, great guy, just really personal, really nice, and I just had a really fun time hanging out with him. He was with me when I bought a couple of my bigger books, and we had fun nerding out about it. So Noah, I thank you. The 3 men in the basement crew, Otto, Roger, Dave, Chinmo. From Thursday night when I met them actually into Friday, these guys are the unofficial ambassadors of Terrificon. They have a table set up. They are making sure the community feels welcome. They're doing live streams from different floors of the hotel at the end of every day, inviting creators up to show them what you got. I'll put a link to the video I was in below, but check them all out. 4 incredibly nice, great guys who I'm going to keep in contact with and have on my channel, and I hope to go on their channel at some point. And then I actually met Danielle of Nerdy Girl Comics. You know, I've watched her stuff for a while. I know she's done a lot of sales, big sales, has a crazy collection. If you haven't watched the King of Collectibles, I think it is, about golden auctions on Netflix, she's in it for an episode. And, you know, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the guy who hosts the show, the main guy, Ken Golden, tried to pry a book away from her that's pretty important. And he made an offer to her that I'm not sure many comic collectors would be able to easily turn down. But she knew as a custodian of that book how important it was, and that sometimes a book's just worth more than money, and being the guardian of that book. So I tapped her on the shoulder, asked if I could take a picture. We chatted comics for a minute. I said, I'd love to have you on the show during a solo series or something. She said, let's set it up. So Danielle, if you watch this, thanks for being so kind to me. I know that you're going to tons of cons, thanks to a guy that gets to go to one every like 5 to 10 years. So those are the community members Friday outside of the group that I went with that I met. Okay, so like I said, I wanted to get one book on my list before I went back to the room and crashed for a bit. So there's tons of vendors at this show. There's tons of comic vendors. It is known to be a comic-centric show. A little bit of pop culture stuff, a little bit of toys, mostly dealers, artists, creators, and some celebrities. So one of the first booths I found that I actually had bought from before online is the one and only Very Gary Comics. I went up, I said, Gary, do you have a Silver Surfer 4 in a 5.0? He hadn't even had his wall set up yet. But he stopped everything he was doing, and he said, yeah, let me check. I'm pretty sure I do. And he found it. He's like, I think I got another one too. I'm like, okay, let me look at this one while you're looking for that one. This was my Target book. He had the price on it, and I wanted to negotiate a little bit. And he found the other one. It was like a 2.0, and I knew I didn't want it in that grade. I wanted a really nice cover for this book. So we went back and forth and priced a little bit, and he gave me a very fair price. So the very first book I bought at the con is Silver Surfer #4. One of, if not the most iconic Silver Age covers. I put it right there with Fantastic Four 49. It is wonderful. It's from 1969, Stanley story. The great John Buscema on the cover. John Buscema, Howard Purcell, and Sal Buscema, as well as Paul Ryman art inside. So this is a Thor and Loki appearance, Hulk, Thing, and Hercules cameo, and Tales of the Watcher backup story. I knew I wanted this book in like a 5.0, a mid-grade, to make sure that the cover was really nice, that the colors popped, because that's what this book is all about. This is just one of the best composed covers in comic book history, I think. Really nice for a 5.0. I don't think there's much that a crack and press could do to really increase this. I was talking to Jeff about it, and there's no use messing with it. But there's another reason I would crack this. As I was looking over the book, you got to remember, I'm out of it. I just spent 8 hours from 5:30 a.m. It's actually now about 2:30 that I'm in the con trying to buy this book. So I didn't really go over anything other than, you know, I knew the creative team. I knew the story about it. I knew the cover. So after I buy it, I'm walking away, and I read, and I said, John Buscema, retina and pen on first page. There's a John Buscema autograph in here. Possible, but I mean, it's highly likely it's a John Buscema autograph, because a lot of the time the creators, back before CGC was verifying or doing signatures, or CBCS, they were writing on the inside of comic books. They didn't want to write on the cover. So I will probably crack this and send it to CGC for JSA authentication to see if it is actually John Buscema, and it will add another piece of history to this book and my experience at the con. Bigby McFly, the comic guy, was right there with me as I bought this. It was really special to have him there, and he took some pictures of me and Gary, which I'll throw up right now. Super surreal to be buying this book in person. You guys know me. Most of my shtick is buying online, and Gary was super, super nice, super cool about it. Took a picture with me to commemorate the moment. So Gary, if you end up watching this, thanks so much, man, for all you do for the community. You know, you're a content creator. You sell comic books. You do a great job of what you do. I've watched your content from when I first got on YouTube, man, and your submissions that you've done and books you're getting back and everything you've done. So thanks a lot for this. I really appreciate it. All right, so I go back to my hotel room. I take a nap. I only took an hour nap. Showered, get myself back together, come back down. Now, the Tuesday before the weekend of the con, 3 Men in a Basement did a wonderful job highlighting the con floor, interviewing sellers that were going to be there, talking about the guests. They were just, it was really nice to have that video advantage of like looking and seeing where stuff was going to be and who was going to be there and what books were going to be there. So Wednesday, Ryan, the Colossus Collector, hits me up and he says, yo, they've got some of your monster books on 3 Men in a Basement. So I went back to the rewatch and I found this guy, Sean from Comics CT, has some wonderful pre-hero Marvel monster books. And I saw 2 I really wanted. 1 I really wanted, but 2 that I was highly interested in. And Noah from Broke by Comics was there. Mike from Lunch Money Comics was there. I'm going to show you a little bit of footage after this about what he was looking at. But I talked with Sean. I went back and forth and his partner, and I ended up securing these 2 books. And they are in higher grade than I would usually get for these books. I think they were fairly priced for the grade they're at. Sometimes you may pay a little premium at cons to look at the book, see the book, especially raw. I would never buy these raw off of eBay. You can't see them, you can't hold them. Sean took them both out. We flipped through them, showed me the staples, complete. I really got to inspect the condition. So the first book is Tales of Suspense 15. I'll put it right in front of your face so you can enjoy it. Written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, cover art by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers, which you can see they both, little Kirby and Ayers right there. Colors by Stan Goldberg and letters by Artie Simic. I bought this shirt from Kohl's. I actually own this shirt of this cover. And I love Goom here. If you give me a moment, I should have warned you guys, this isn't going to be a quick video. I wanted to take my time and really try to show you everything I experienced in the books I got. So, Tales of Suspense features this creature Goom, right? I got home, I read it. It's wonderful, campy stories from the day, back in the day. But look at that art. Look at that splash page of Goom. He's got more of like a skull-like head. Again, this is wonderful condition. I talked to Jeff from Comic Spa. He said probably a 3.5 to a 4.0. It does have other stories besides Goom, such as the Living Ghost. But let's face it, I bought it for the monster that is Goom. So there's a part 1 and a part 2 in here of Goom, and I'll show you the splash page. This looks more like the cover, but look at that art. Look at that. Just beautiful art. I'm really psyched I got this. The brown and the yellows, the trade dress, you can still see that gloss for how old this book is. It's in incredible shape. There is some damage right here, as you can see. That's what Jeff dropped the grade so low on. But as far as the colors and the gloss and how this book looks for its age, super happy to add this to my collection. Like, never thought, you guys know me, if I see them low grade, I buy them because I can afford them. But, you know, I saved up a long time for this con to go in and really secure some books that really meant a lot to me. And so this is the first book I got. All right, the next book I got from Sean was one of the 2 main books I was focusing on. Silver Surfer, number 4, and this one. I saw this one at Sean's booth. I then wanted to do my due diligence, so I ran throughout the con as much as I could. I checked with every vendor. Do you have a Journey into Mystery 62? Do you have it slab? Do you have it raw? I asked everyone. No one had one. No one. I knew Sean had this from the 3 Men in the Basement live stream, so I knew there was at least one there. This book is a ghost sometimes. Now, is it on eBay? Sure. I go buy graded copies on eBay. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it personal. There's only 207 graded on the CGC census. I don't know how many CBCS are out there, and then who knows how many raw. But I did get it. I finally procured it. It is Journey into Mystery 62 from 1960. So this is, again, pre-Fantastic Four, written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, cover art by Jack Kirby, and this is what's considered the Hulk prototype. It's the first time the Hulk name was used. The creature is actually Zemnu, the living titan, and is an alien. So, again, hold on. Okay, so great gloss. Again, Jeff estimated this to be about a 4.0 to 5.0. Again, you just don't see these books in that condition. There is some page loss up here, but I just really wanted to take my time in this video, open it up, and show you the beautiful art, that splash page, that Hulk up there. You know, you don't, the next time you'll see Hulk used, after his first couple, he's made appearances in a couple of the pre-hero Marvel Monster books, but then, you know, they use it for the actual Hulk. So I flipped through this book, I read it, it's just wonderful. And, you know, as far as the pre-hero Marvel Monsters, this is a big one to own. I was on a stream this past week with DJ Lynx. He has one too. He also has a Hulk one, but we were talking about this comic and how hard it can be to find at all, raw or graded. So I want to actually show you the page where it is disclosed that he is an alien. So great. I love this page. Look at this art. Look at it. Just look at it. Okay, so right here, you can see where it says, "My name is Zemnu. I come from the far reaches of the universe." But look at all these crazy alien creatures. And the design of Zemnu himself has always intrigued me, with those big paws and a whole lot of hair. And he can enslave people. So really nice condition for its age. Super pumped and grateful to add these to my collection. These will be going to CGC to be graded for preservation. I've read the stories. I can read them online. I just want to preserve them for the future, for my kids to have someday. So big thanks to Sean of Comics CT. I saw him multiple times throughout the weekend and told him how much these books meant to me. And he said, he was really, really happy that they, went to me, someone who's going to appreciate him and love him, and I will for sure. So thanks, Sean. So while I'm over there buying these books, I get a text from Bigby McFly. Bigby's hunting this con hard. He's going after it, and I loved it. And he sent me a picture of this book, and he told me what the seller was offering, and it seemed too good to be true. It is another pre-hero Marvel monster. It predates the Fantastic Four by 10 months. Tales of Suspense, number 13 from 1961. Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko cover. Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Don Heck, Paul Ryman, and Dick Ayers art. Electro, cover and story. Guess what? Guess the next time they used Electro. Yep. In his first appearance against Spider-Man. Not the same Electro, obviously. So this is graded a CGC 4.5. And I'm going to tell you, they only got 2 slabs this weekend. I really wanted to get more raw books, and I don't have the space. I'm trying to be responsible with the space I have. I have enough room for 2 more slabs, and I'll make room for the other 2 once I get them back. But again, I love the browns they chose to use on these early trade dress covers. So deep and rich. So 4.5. They had a $200 price tag on this. I think that's criminally undervalued for a book of this age. In a mid-grade, off-white pages. Super happy. This came from JS Collectibles. I bought them from JS and the owner Steve online, and his prices are always competitive. Ships well, and just a really nice guy. And I told him that, and shook his hand and said, hey, I bought from you before, and it's the first time, maybe the only time I'll buy from you in person. So thanks so much for hooking me up with this book. But a great monster cover. They're shooting bombs at him. So those were my first main pickups on day 1 of Friday. Now, Friday was, I ran around like a madman to get all this done. And you're going to see some other stuff I got from creators as well as celebrities. So Saturday's even bigger. Yeah. So I really tried to plan for this con in advance. I knew what creators were going to be there. I knew what books I had that I'd like them to sign. And I wanted to go get signatures first, but I kind of fell apart when I saw books. And I made way back to artist and creator alley, if you will. And the first creator I met was Mr. Jim Starlin.
Something in color so it will show.
Whatever color you want, sir. It's your creation. I'm just the custodian of it.
How about down here?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this has got to be dry for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. How's the con been going so far for you?
It's been busy. Yeah, you got here. I just wandered off for a while, so
which is great considering the fact that he canceled and then reinstated himself.
Yeah, the circumstance changed.
Hey, life happens. You guys are busy too, right?
Yeah, it's weird sometimes.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
There was no line. I couldn't believe it. Maybe it's because it was early Friday. People just hadn't. I know we had a line the rest of the time, but I got him to sign Man-Thing, Volume 1, issue number 2 from 1973, written by Steve Gerber, but the cover art, of course, by Frank Giacoia and Jim Starlin, who it is now signed by. So, I have a ton of Man-Thing books, and Ryan, the Classic Collector, was like, hey, I think your Man-Thing issue 2 is a Starlin cover, and he told me that Marie Severin actually fixed the face on this. They didn't like the face. Marie Severin fixed the face here, but he is responsible for the girl and man thing. So really nice guy, really cool to talk to. I can happily report every creator that you're going to see I had something signed. Every celebrity I met was beyond kind to me. They say never meet your heroes. You may just be disappointed. Well, then maybe I should have bought a lottery ticket because every one of them was so cool to me, and I truly appreciate that. It elevates the experience of the con. Say you get 10 things signed and one's a bad experience. It can really sour the whole thing. Not my case. I lucked out. And so, Mr. Starlin, thank you so much for signing this book. The next book, let me show you a little footage I have before of this person signing it.
So I think it fits off. Do what?
Dude, thanks so much, dude.
Yeah, of course,
appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's great to meet you.
Oh my God. Keep up the great work, man.
Thank you, man.
I'll
Thanks
keep
for
buying
supporting.
them.
Appreciate
I usually
that.
collect like silver and golden age books, but you're getting me into modern and this stuff, man.
Thanks, brother.
So
Appreciate that.
thanks for pulling me into the modern century.
of course.
Okay, thanks, dude.
Yes, that was Philip Kennedy Johnson. He is a superb writer for Alien, and he wrote To Brandon with thanks, and he signed this awesome book for me. I got to talk to him a bit. Really cool guy. And I was like, were you a fan of Aliens, you know, before you started writing? And he's like, oh my God, yes, I've been a fan since a kid. It was a dream. Like, you love hearing those stories where someone was passionate and had a dream about doing something and loved a property so much and got to grow up and work on it. Bravo, my friend. Really great. I have this whole run. I just wanted to get one book signed for him. Again, I was trying to budget. I would have liked to get all books signed, but I did that in a run of books you'll see in the Saturday video. So thank you, Mr. Johnson, so much for signing this. It means the world to me, and I'll treasure it forever. The last creator I got on Friday, and I used my first line pass because his line was about a 2.5-hour wait. Super nice guy. Let me show you the footage.
I'm Mr. Claremont. Oh, sorry about that. That fell. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you for everything you did. I love this story.
Not done yet. I love the covers. But that's just John Bolton did.
Yes.
Covers.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of X-Men. I thought I'd bring you something different.
It's fun. What do you do when...
And how much? Oh, yeah, just an autograph. Just a signature on the cover would be amazing. Who do I pay? Which person here?
So yes, that was Mr. Chris Claremont. Mostly of X-Men fame, but he did write this book I had him sign. It's Aliens, Predator, the Deadliest of Species, issue 1 of 12. If you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. Really cool book. It's from 1993. Cover art by John Bolton, written by Chris Claremont, and now signed on the trade dress by Chris Claremont. This was a gift from Hagen of Lettuce Comics, so it was serendipitous that he gifted this to me. And then I went online and read the story, and it actually features, you know, female human, female predator, female xenomorph. Very cool story, but to meet Mr. Claremont in person and shake his hand, and he's just was telling me stories, man. He could talk that whole line, and people would have to wait forever because, and people would wait forever for him. I'm just saying, like, he could out-talk that line. People, you know, people couldn't listen to all the stories he had. He had tons of stories. So this really made it special. So for 3 signed books, I was really happy that day to get all 3 of these signed by the creators I wanted to. And so that wraps up my comic adventures for that day. So not only am I a fan of comics, but I've loved movies forever. Just movies, and me and my dad connected with him, my mom too. And this guy was going to be there. My dad loved him in Rambo. My mom loved him in Karate Kid. I loved him in both. So I got a photo op with him, and I had him sign a picture. He was so kind. My mom has been through a tough time these past few years, and she's really leaned into Cobra Kai and bringing up that nostalgia and seeing these actors that, you know, she grew up with me watching to, like, you know, bring some happiness to her. So I asked if he'd be willing to film a little excerpt for her to pump her up and tell her to keep going. And he did. It's a little personal, so I'm not going to play it. But Mr. Cove, if you're ever watching this, thanks. This guy was a sweetheart. He was so nice to offer to do that. And when I got a picture with him, he's like, let's do the fight stance. Yes, I'm bigger than Sensei John Kreese. Camera always make people look bigger. To Brandon, no mercy. Marty, Sensei Cove. So thanks, Mr. Cove, so much. It was really a pleasure to meet this guy. Again, my dad loved him in Rambo Part 2, First Blood, I think it was. But my mom loved him in Karate Kid, and I got to enjoy him in both, because if my dad wasn't watching Rambo, Mom was watching Karate Kid. So this celebrity really was just awesome to meet. All right, the last celebrity I met that day, another 80s movie icon. Still currently acting, but I loved him in movies like Red Dawn, E.T., and of course, The Outsiders. He is Mr. C. Thomas Howell. Super nice guy. Again, just super kind. I had my Wolverine shirt on. I had an extra one that was accidentally sent to me, so I gave it to him, and he's really appreciative of that. Chatted up with him about the movies. I didn't get this signed because I had another thing that I wanted signed, which is this right here. He was the voice of Professor Zoom in the Flashpoint Paradox, and I have been collecting signatures on this DVD of voice actors. So I've got Ron Perlman up here, who voiced Deathstroke. I have Kevin Conroy down here that I got in New York Comic Con in 2014, who is, of course, the voice of Batman. And now C. Thomas Howell has added to this. He thought it was really cool I had this. I don't know how many other actors I can get. I'll definitely have them sign in the back, but I got to do some research and see what other actors are out there doing cons that I could get. So really cool experience with him. Celebrities, creators all around that day. my heart was full leaving the con floor that day. I remember I was walking out and I actually like clapped my hands out of excitement for obtaining most of the books I wanted, meeting creators and getting books signed, and meeting these celebrities, everyone being so cool. On top of that, my friends. I got to shout out the guys that I've been planning this trip with forever. Please check out their channels. Troy, Awesome Toy Box with Troy. Rohan and JP, the Absolute Game of Nerds YouTube channel. You have Ricky from All Sorts of Words. Mike from Lunch Money Comics. Bruce from Up North Comics. Ryan the Colossus Collector. Dan of Dan's X-Men Comics on IG. We're still trying to push him to start a YouTube page. And not pictured was Bigby McFly, the comic book guy, and Mr. Akins. And you could see, I'll play this video and voice over it, but we're just hanging in the hotel room after the con. We went out to dinners. We went out to breakfasts. And without them being the catalyst of all of us talking, I don't know if I would have gone to this show. And so to be there and experience with them, anyone who is in this community and has gone to a con and felt that community love will know exactly what I'm talking about. So thanks to all those guys for making not only Friday special, but the whole trip. And yeah, so that was day one. I was super, super grateful to come away with some awesome books, these slabs and some raws. Stay tuned. Part 2 is coming up. I actually just hit the maximum when I was filming before an iMovie of how long I was about to go. So these are going to be long videos. Please hang out and listen to my con walkthrough experience. So far, right out of the bat on Friday, Terrificon lived up to the hype. And I only had more to look forward to on Saturday. I knew there's going to be more creators coming that I want to meet, more vendors, more comic book artists, more celebrities. So it was really cool. Please join me on this journey. If you like what you're seeing, please hit like and subscribe. It helps me so much. I haven't put out a video in so long, and I'm really pumped to put out these monumental videos of a trip that I don't know when I'll be able to take again. And I do have the Big 5 Live scheduled for September already. It is September 20th at 9 p.m. I have all 4 guests were at Terrificon with me. And I'll talk about them in the last video and kind of shout them out, but that day is going to be September 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you've all been well. I appreciate you coming back to view my videos as always. I'm super grateful. When I was there, it was very apparent that I live out here in the sticks. I don't see people that have been creating, that have other channels, that say, I watch your stuff, and I know you watch my stuff. Thank you. And I don't see fans stopping me and saying, hey, I like your content. It was a very surreal moment for me, and I said, damn it, I'm a YouTuber, and I love doing it. I'm having a blast, and I appreciate all of you stopping by to check out the video. So I hope you guys have a great, safe day. Until next time, keep reading those comics.